Hey y'all, Fuzzy Biker here in one of Baxter Cycle's nifty little garage areas. Got the Royal Enfield Himalayan here. I meant to show you this before we got started. There's the tank. I literally ran the bike out of gas, so that thing is just empty, big old shell. I want to show you something about this. Look at that. So there's two electrical connectors. One here, right here. That's the, we think that's the fuel gauge. And of course at the bottom, that's the fuel pump. Check that out, just a big old shell. And all of that massiveness covers this air cleaner. There's the air cleaner there, right here. So we were looking at that, trying to figure out where the air gets in. It comes in from the bottom here. There's actually two holes. You guys won't be able to see it, but it's in the front of the bike right over here. So the air intake is literally right up here on the front of the bike. Here, big old air cleaner there. And then we're going to take this apart. I'm going to get to the valves. And something I was noticing, every time I've ever taken a water-cooled valve bike apart, we've had to take the draining radiator. Well, look at this. Here's the low end, and here's the high end. And it's in the head, but it's below, you know, we don't have to muck with the valve cover, so hopefully we won't have to mess with that. So that's a plus, right? That's all fine Colorado dirt right there. I'll wipe all that up before we start taking things apart. So the goal today, change the oil. I'm going to see if we have a DNA air filter. We'll put that in. Isn't that neat? Just look at that. And then pull the valve cover off and check the valves. And then if they need adjusted, we'll do it in the shim. I think it's shim over bucket, I think is how it is. So we'll check on that. And then while we're at it, I said we're going to change the oil. I'm going to see if I can find out what's going on here with that rattling. We were looking at, I said my catalytic converter was rattling, and what has happened there is we think a little rubber piece has fallen off. Somewhere in Colorado there's a little rubber piece that belongs to my bike. If you find it, mail it back to me, would you? But anyhow, I will, oh, and we're going to change the back tire. I've got a Dunlop Trail Max Mission at home I think I'm going to put on. It's the right size, so we'll do that. There's the chain. We'll clean that up, get it adjusted properly. 7,600 miles on this whole thing. This will be the second oil change that we've done. I think Enfield, before they gave us the bike, had done one. So, and then we're thinking about if we have time, we might change this. I don't think we need to change the front tire, but we might do that. But catch up with y'all in a bit. Wahoo! Alrighty, I got the valve cover off. I'll show you that right quick. Check it out. Valve cover gasket all the way around. Look at this. Little connector there to keep this from falling free on its own. That's where the spark plug goes in. We go over here. You know, dual overhead cam, little decompression release right there. The spark plug is down in there. Let me see if I can find a flash. The spark plug is right there in that center section, right there. But look at that, isn't that neat? All that little stuff. We had to take the air box off to get to it. What did I do with that? It's here somewhere. It is, apparently I hit it. Well, anyway, we had to take the air box off. Here's parts of it. The air intake is on the front of the box. That was kind of cool. We had to take it off from the engine part. Good grief, what did I do with that thing? I got it here somewhere. The throttle body and the computer and all that stuff is all hooked to it in one chunk. Oh, here it is, right here. So there's the throttle body. There's the computer right here on the side. Coil right there in the bottom of that. So we had to unhook a couple hoses and undo the spark plug and all that neat stuff. But really, really well done so far. Very easy to get to. You know, I've worked on motorcycles where it's, you know, like pulling teeth to get to things, and so far, everything's handy dandy. All right, I'll get back to you in a minute. Wahoo. Hey, y'all. Just pulling the oil off of this thing. Now, mind you, we did some river crossings in it. It is pretty black. It's probably got 4,700 miles on it, something like that. I can't remember. We changed oil about 2,000, so 5,600 miles on it. This is one of the two sludge screens. I already cleaned the other one. And, you know, we did a water crossing. When I pulled these out the first oil change, they're pretty clean. We did it after, I just did it now, and this was actually just, I don't want to say it was full of sludge, but it certainly had sludge in it. And the oil is pretty bad. So if you do a water crossing, you might consider, you know, pulling those out, changing your oil and pulling these out, and definitely cleaning these every time. I would clean these every time. Did the oil filter already, right there. Fixed the rattle, no big deal. I'm going back and forth on whether to get a DNA filter or not. The filter is actually pretty clean. I think I showed you all earlier, the intake for the air is up here somewhere, way up here. Like I said, the valves were in spec, so we don't have to do anything with that. We had to call Royal Enfield to get the specs because they haven't been published yet, apparently. So I gotta adjust the chain yet. You can see that. I'll clean that and adjust it. And I do have a tire for it right here, and I think I'm gonna put that on. I may not put it on today, but I'll certainly put it on by tomorrow. So right now my goal is to get the oil changed and then get this back together. All right, y'all, we've been putting things back together. Cam was all in spec. I think I already told you all that. Got all this back together now. Vent for the tank, overflow. These two are for the fuel. That's the fuel line. This is a DNA air filter that we're going to use. And this is a cover that came with it that goes over the around the top. So this will have an intake in the front of the bike, and now it'll have an intake on top of the bike. So we'll have dual inlets for air. That ought to make some interesting wah sound, if you know what I mean. So let's see, what else can I tell you? I changed the oil already. We fixed the rattle back here. Changed the oil, new filter. This is the CPU, this is the throttle body. That's all back together. The hardest thing to do so far has been hooking the crankcase pressure tube back to this thing here. So far everything's been good. The tank is absolutely empty. I actually ran out of gas on the way here today, so that's a good one. We don't think we're going to be doing a cat delete because we found the reason for the rattle. We might do that at a later date, but I'll get this all. I want to show you the DNA filter, but when I'll get this all back together, then we'll do the tire. Catch you in a bit. Wahoo. All right, y'all. Want to show you all this before I wrapped it all up. This is the old cover that was right here for the filter. That's the new DNA filter right there. So this has an inlet. The airbox has an inlet on the front of the bike. Now it's got this inlet on the back also, and that nice, neat DNA filter in the back there. Also forgot to mention that all the valves were in spec. Maybe I mentioned that already, but all the valves were actually within tolerance. So 7,600 miles, everything was within tolerance. You know, my last Himalayan, 31,000 miles, every valve check, the valves were within spec. Maybe that's how this one will be, but absolutely amazing. All that work, wasn't that hard actually, but you know, I got to put these bolts in yet too. But anyway, to get to that, just to find out they were in spec. All right, y'all, Fuzzy here. We got her all done. Everything but the tire change. We're running out of daylight, and people want to leave, and so we're going to leave that for tomorrow. But valves have been checked. They were within spec. Fuel tank, everything put back together. Put some gas in it, checked for leaks. Everything was hunky and dory. So tomorrow I'll bring this hot rod in. We'll put a new back tire on it. I've got a Dunlop Trail Max Mission that I'm going to put on there. I think I can get another 1,000 or 2 out of this, but I have a 2,500, 3,000 mile trip planned maybe this weekend, and I would like to have a fresh piece of rubber back there. I don't want to run it out. We're talking about the front tire, but I don't want to change the front tire. I think the front tire is still plenty good. So I also have an appointment with a car wash. Don't believe a word of that. Anyway, great day working on the bike. If y'all are in the market for a new or used Royal Enfield Triumph Classic British bike of any type, get yourself over here to Baxter Cycle in the mighty Mini-tropolis of Marnie, Iowa. They got parts, accessories, thingamajigs, doodads, all kinds of goodies, gear, gloves, all that good stuff. Anyway, or go to BaxterCycle.com. Tell those fine folks that Fuzzy Biker sent you. They also ship motorcycles all over America, to most places. And I really appreciate it if you would hit like and subscribe. I truly appreciate all the people, all of you out there that watch. Life is good, my friends. Life is good. Get out and ride. Wahoo!
I did have a hamburger for supper last night.